and I'll be the one starting off our group's presentation with the topic of economics, specifically the Great Depression. Let us first define what is economics. The University at Buffalo Department of Economics defines it as the study of scarcity and its implications for the use of resources, production of goods and services, growth of production and welfare over time, and a great variety of other complex issues of vital concerns to society. The Great Depression was a severe worldwide economic depression in the decade preceding World War II. The timing of the Great Depression varied across nations, but in most countries it started in 1930 and lasted until the late 1930s or middle 1940s. It was the longest, most widespread, and deepest depression of the 20th century. The Great Depression was the worst economic downturn in the history of the industrialized world. It began after the stock market crash of October 1929, which sent Wall Street into a panic and wiped out millions of investors. Over the next several years, consumers' spending and investment dropped, causing steep declines in industrial output and employment as failing companies laid off workers. By 1933, when the Great Depression reached its lowest point, some 15 million Americans were unemployed and nearly half the country's banks had failed. The worldwide effect of the Great Depression was particularly long and severe in the United States and Europe. It was milder in Japan and much of Latin America. Perhaps surprisingly, the worst depression ever experienced by the world economy stemmed from a multitude of causes.
So this is our reinforcing loop. The Great Depression caused the stock market crash. With the stock market crash, price went high, so consumers want the lowest price possible, so they demand more. With the low in demand of products, the employment rate will decrease because of low in demand. Without jobs, people loan money from others, then they get in debt. Comes with that is famine because of low in income.
The Great Depression causes the stock market to crash. With the stock market crash, products are now high in demand because they will hoard supplies. With high demand of products, the employment rate will increase because they will need more people to do the labors. With jobs, people can pay their debts from others and they will slowly regain welfare.
If the Great Depression intensifies overproduction, it will result in rise of low demand for local products. To safeguard all local goods, the authority chose to increase the restriction on imported products, leading to a reduction on trade as a result of high demand for foreign imports, which will cause the Great Depression to worsen.
Here to report about the balancing. So, if they practice organized banking loans during the Great Depression, this would reduce overproduction of local goods that would also increase the probability of moderate tariffication on import products. It will also decrease the lower demand for local products, resulting in increase on trading capabilities over foreign items that will also result in a lower risk over the Great Depression.